to first thank Megan for joining us. Megan is a 4-star diamond coach. She's a mommy and a wife, and she stays at home and works this full time, which I envy her. But I do love my full-time job. So I want to welcome her to the call, and she's going to chat with us tonight about recruiting and rank advancement and just how she works her business. So thanks, Megan, and I will hand it over to you.
Sure. So thanks for having me. I'm excited to see so many familiar faces on here. I wasn't exactly sure who was part of your team, Nicole, so this is really cool. So yeah, I'm just going to dive right in and just kind of plow through this. I tend to get through this stuff like really quickly, which can be like a blessing and a curse, because I know that we don't like our calls to drag on, but sometimes I can go a little fast. So if you need me to revisit something, just let me know. So as far as recruiting, this is definitely a strength of mine. And I'm going to tell you just some things that I do very consistently in regards to recruiting. So first off, I want to encourage you guys to go back through your downline and just, tally up your coaches, whether you have 4 coaches, whether you have 40 coaches, it doesn't matter. And just take a hard look at those coaches and where they came from. Did they come from a challenge group? Did they come from a coach opportunity call? Were they fit? Where did they come from? I personally have 80 personally sponsored coaches, and 67 of them came to me as challengers first. So I know that is where to focus. I know that for me, it starts with helping people become loyal, long-term customers, helping people have a transformation story, helping people meet their physical goals, and then transitioning that into the financial goals. So how do I do that exactly? In my mind, when someone signs up for me with a challenge pack, they automatically go on the list of my dream team. Like if you are interested in the 20-minute or you are interested in Saienni and you're willing to do Shakeology, in my mind, I'm going to turn you into a coach. Like that is just my mindset. It doesn't happen every time, and that's okay. And there are coaches that I sign and they don't work out, and that's okay too. But in my mind, it's all one big process. It's not like, okay, well, this person just is a challenger or this person is just a coach. Like it's all one big process. It's like the end goal for me. So what I like to do is constantly be delivering a series of jabs while they're working in the challenge group. And I will flat out say things like, maybe I should have you coach me. Like I say crazy stuff like that to them just to kind of like light the spark and just, drop those little hints and bombs. I am constantly pumping them up with recognition, not just in the group, but like on the side. Like I'll send them little messages like, hey, I just wanted to thank you for like your amazing participation in the challenge group. You participate and offer a lot of value just the same way as coaches do. And just know that you're really motivating and inspiring a lot of people. It might not feel that way to you, but I really value you in our group. Or a tip that another coach gave me last week from another team told me that she will actually reach out to challengers, and I'm going to start doing this, and she'll say to them, hey, I'm going to be tied up tomorrow. Do you mind helping me with the challenge group and creating this like post or whatever? Like she'll ask for like a favor to help with the group and like kind of put a little bit of accountability on them, which I thought was really cool. The other thing I do is, so if someone comes to me and is ready to take on a challenge, I do this all the time, and I think that most of you probably do as well. I make sure that they get offered the coach discount and follow up with them before their Shakeology ships every single time. There is not a single person who has purchased from me, who has purchased Shakeology from me, who hasn't been offered the coach discount before their next bag of Shakeology ships. So what I'll do is, so today is June 21st. And if Melissa Orange ordered from me today, I would go to July 21st. I would count back 5 days, and I would put her name on my iCalendar, and I would write -Shakeology. So when I sit down to do my power hour every day, I know who I need to message and follow up with them regarding their Shakeology. And I'll say something very simple like, hey, Melissa, I just wanted to remind you that in 5 days your Shakeology is going to ship again. Do you wish to receive it? If you need any help with changing your flavor, modifying the order, or you wish to cancel, let me know. I can help you with that as well. And just kind of leave it at that. When they write me back like, yes, I love it, I say a one-liner, okay, great, we need to sign you up for the discount then. I don't write back like a page-long novel about it or anything like that. I keep it like super simplified. Okay, great, we need to sign you up for the discount. And I say it super confidently, and I make it sound super simple. I think that when you send them back like a spreadsheet breakdown of the savings over 6 months and then the potential to get your shake paid for, and you just turn it into this big complicated thing, they feel like they're being sold to. Where if you just approach it with like, I want to save you some money, so let's just do this real quick, it'll be easy. I think that's more effective. I'll never forget this, and this is why it stuck out in my head to just keep this part of the process simple. I made the mistake of asking a Roden and Fields rep about an eye cream, and I'm an esthetician, so I'm kind of well versed in skincare products. She sent me back like 40 pages of information with like clinical trials and all these before and after pictures. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like I didn't even read it. I just wanted to know like the price and like the 3 active ingredients that were in it. And she sent me so much information. I was like, no, I don't want this. Like I'll just go to Ulta, you know? So that really like stuck out with me to just keep it really simple. So that's kind of where I stand as far as like my challenge groups. Now, I'm sure you guys are a great team, I know personally. So I make sure that every month I do at least one sort of glimpse into coaching group. And I run that for my entire team. So whether it's a group or a live call or a Zoom call or whatever it is, I make sure I do that at least once a month. As of lately, I didn't do it in June because we were away for 2 weeks, but as of lately, I've been doing it twice a month. And if you're like a diamond and above coach, you really need to be doing these on your own. And that's just my personal opinion. And just kind of get in the habit of talking about coaching more, because when you do that, so I find that like I do these calls, right? So I do these coaching calls once or twice a month. I don't really get a ton of coaches off those calls, but what ends up happening is I'm teaching my team how to present the business, because my team is inviting people to the call. They're getting on with their 1 or 2 people, and they're hearing me talk about the business over and over and over and over again, in all the different ways that I say it. And I find that it's more of like a training tool than anything else. And it just starts like leadership. It just starts having that like presence and that leadership on the team. And it just shows that you're serious. So, you know, people want to see you. They don't want to see, you know, the coach that's 2 levels above them, you know? So the better you can put yourself behind it, the better your result's going to be. People want to be coached by you. So, you know, there's me, my coach is Ann Paco, her coach is Lauren McNulty. And then I put a coach underneath me, and then they put the coach. They don't want to connect with Lauren. And it's not because Lauren's not a good coach or not an amazing resource, and she is. And there'll be time for like those team members to grow into her resources. But in the beginning, they just want to connect with you. So the better you are at talking about the opportunity, the better you are at presenting the opportunity, the more resources you have saved in YouTube to give to people in the interim, the better off you're going to be as far as recruiting coaches as well. Now, leading up to that, I'll post for a whole week about coaching a lot of times. So this week I kind of dropped the ball on it. We have a coach opportunity call tomorrow. My team does. Lindsay Sanford's going to be hosting it. She just went 2-star diamond, which is amazing. So, you know, I should have posted Sunday. I should have posted last night. I did a post tonight, and I'll do another post tomorrow morning. And I'll get creative with it. Something that I find is super effective is go back through your checks and figure out what this opportunity is paying for monthly. So I know that I have a great income with Beachbody. I have a tremendous income with Beachbody. I have a 6-figure income. And I'll hear from a lot of my coaches, and especially my diamond coaches, they'll say, well, I just feel like you do the call better because you have an income to talk about. Well, first of all, I was still able to recruit coaches before I had this income. I was still able to grow a team before I had this income. And absolutely no one has ever messaged me and been like, you know, Meg, I've been following you for the past 2 years and I could really use an extra $100,000. So I think I'm going to give this thing a try. Like, most people just want that little something extra. That's how everyone starts. I'm pretty sure every single person on this call is either more successful than they thought they could be, or just started for something extra, didn't have the great vision like we have for this business now. So, you know, it's our job to create that for them once they're already a coach. So what I always advise my team to do is break down what this opportunity is affording you monthly. So if you're making $500 a month, does that cover a car payment and your car insurance? If you're making $1,000 a month, does that cover your mortgage payment? Are you able to eliminate your student loan debts? Are you able to eliminate credit card debts? Connect. So for me, it started with groceries. Like, we were so broke when I started coaching. It was groceries. I was so excited to have $200 a week. It made life so much easier around here. And then I was like, okay, now I want groceries and gas, because I had an SUV, and at the time gas was almost $4 a gallon. And I was like, if I could cover like groceries and gas every week, that would be freaking awesome. And then it was like groceries, gas, car insurance, grocery, gas, car insurance, cell phone bill. And like, now I can cover it all. So like, now when I do these posts, like, when you can cover your mortgage, that is tremendous. And you need to blow that up, because there's not a person in the United States of America that doesn't wish they didn't have a mortgage payment. So when you can connect with that, when people are like, shit, she's covering her mortgage, like, I need to give this, you know, better consideration. And just really connect with that emotion that people need. And like, I tie the two together. So if you go look at the post I did tonight, I might be able to bring it up real quick. Page. Sometimes my stuff goes slow when I'm on another call. Yeah, because if I can bring it up on my phone real quick, just so I can remember. Basically said that I had gained 52 pounds, and that I focused the energy back on me, on getting healthy, on losing weight, on controlling my anxiety after having my son. People started noticing. I started paying it forward and inspiring others to do the same. So I made the work that we do sound really simple. And then, you know, I talked about how I dove straight in. I had a strong purpose for what we do, a passion for what we do, and, you know, took that leap of faith, quadrupled my old income. If you're stuck in a rut or stuck in life, passionate about health, fitness, or just tired of working your ass off for someone else, then I want to invite you to join tomorrow night for the call. So I got emotional. I shared, you know, my transformation story, the physical piece of this, because without the physical piece of this, you're not going to be successful in this business. If you don't have that passion for the health and fitness, like, it's just not going to work out. It's just not. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. This is, I needed to better myself, and now I want to pay it forward. So you definitely want to look for that, and just, you know, make it really relatable. Make people be like, I mean, I was 52 pounds heavier when I signed up as a coach, when I started with T25. I started before 21 Day Fix even came out. So I remind people of that often. You have to share your story, and you have to share it often. So you share like your physical story, and then you also share your financial story, because think about it this way. We add 2 to 5 new friends every day, right? If we're doing our power hour correctly. So there's 30 days in a month, right? And let's say you add 5 friends a day. That's 150 people a month who do not know that I was 52 pounds heavier. They don't know that. They look at these recent pictures of me, and they see a girl that weighs 120 pounds who's a fitness coach and has abs. They don't know that story. So it's really important to constantly revisit that, because we just assume that everyone knows that I was broken, my husband was laid off when we had NICU bills, and I quit my job. Everyone does not know that about me. Everyone sees me now as a successful stay-at-home mom. When I started as a coach, I was working full-time. I was working nights. I was working weekends. I was working holidays. And I had anxiety, and I was heavy. So it's really important to constantly be revisiting that. And I know that you'll think to yourself, like, here I go again, telling the same old story. But if you want it to get into the hands of the right people, you have to keep telling it. So what else? I have like notes here. Also, in regards to my team, I celebrate everything. So the fourth vital behavior now is recognition. So I do that a lot. Now, just something that I personally do is, like, you'll see a lot of coaches put up those like graphics with like the Success Club earners and top coaches for like the month, and they'll put them on like their personal page. I personally don't do that because I don't think anybody understands them. That's just people pick them and they're like, what is Success Club? What are all these points on the board? Like, what does any of that mean? So I personally don't do that. But when I have coaches that will message me in the morning and tell me they had their highest paycheck, I'll recognize the shit out of that. And when I have coaches rank advance, I recognize the shit out of that. And when I'm able to get together with them, like we just did a beat day, we'll talk about that. And, you know, anything I can get my hands on to like give my coaches like a public shout out, Success Club All-Star, Success Club All-Star Legend. I mean, so much more than just like the rank advancements. The more that you can show like the team dynamic, like publicly, and like how awesome and cool and fun and pretty and just awesome we are, like that gains attraction. And there's a lot of coaches on my team that are like, I just really like being a part of this. So, you know, there's a lot of lonely, like for me, there's a lot of lonely moms out there that need something like this online sense of community. So, you know, a lot of people have been attracted to my business because of that. And you guys know the friendships and everything that we've been able to create as coaches and our teams and everything. So once I've, you know, recruited the coaches, what I do is I send them a welcome email, and I can share it with you guys. If you want me to, just find me and I can message it to one of you guys. But I send them a welcome email, you know, welcome to my team. I'm so excited you decided to join, blah, blah, blah. There's a little paragraph. And then I say, here's your welcome videos explaining all the privileges you're receiving as a coach on our team. A series of videos you can watch as soon as possible. It's not mandatory, but very helpful if you want to learn and get off on the right foot. If not, skip for another, forget to this email for future reference. I go over the 3 vital behaviors, which I need to change. It's a video. You literally click on it in YouTube, and I think the longest one is 7 minutes. They're all about like 4 to 5 minutes long. I go over the 3 vital behaviors. I go over Success Club. I go over going Emerald. And I go over navigating your coach online office. And my email has coaching codes, that website, but I'm going to change that to BB Links. If you guys don't have the BB Links app, it's really good. Do you guys have that? Yes? No? Yeah, it's an awesome app. So I need to change it just to have everyone switch over to this instead. And then I do a quick social media crash course so that they don't fuck that up from the very beginning, because that's really hard to come back from. And then I give them just some basic bullet points that they need to know: the monthly business service fee, the club membership, how that works, when our team call is. I ask them to subscribe to, oh no, wait, I don't do that. I wanted to, I need to update it. I'm going to ask them to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way, after the calls are done, they'll get an email. That way it's not like I have to keep going into the team page and posting it and the calls get buried and all that crap. And then I included a video from Bonnie Engel about how to come out of the coach closet and post that you are now a coach. And then here's the really critical piece to something that I do. I say, once all this is done, I'd love to schedule what is called a getting started right call. In this call, we're going to form your power hour. So basically your coach daily to-do list. We will also go over challenge groups and our monthly team calendar. So excited for you to join, blah, blah, blah. Now, what I love about that is if you haven't watched these videos, I'm going to keep sending you back to this letter before I waste my time getting on the phone with you. I'm not going to do this for you, unfortunately. There was a time when I was first getting started that I would have basically worked one of my coaches' businesses for them. You're not doing them any favors by doing that, and you're certainly not doing any favors for yourself by doing that. So, because you want to attract coaches that want to work. You don't want to just slap it together. If you slap together your rank, you're not going to have the volume to support it, and you're going to be constantly playing like the inactive coach game, and it's just not worth it. You're going to be doing more work for no compensation. So if they're not willing to watch those videos, like, I'm not going to get on the phone with you. Like, you have to watch these videos. And if you're not willing to watch these videos, I'm not going to walk you through signing people up. Like, I explained it like very clearly right here. So when I get messages from people, I'm like, it's in the video, it's in that letter. I send them right back to it. And until I know that it's done, do I do a GSR? Because how many of you have signed coaches before and they do absolutely nothing? Nothing. Like, their Shakeology continues to ship out, but they don't even participate in your goddamn challenge group. And you're like, okay, glad that I didn't chase you down and do all this extra work. So that's why I like having this letter, and that's why I like setting that standard. Like, I'm not going to do your GSR until you've done like the crash course. And what's cool about this is a lot of times with like the GSR, sometimes your schedules don't mesh up and you can't get on the phone for like a week or two. And we need to get these coaches like rolling. Like, sometimes you get lucky and coaches come to you and they already have people and it's like 8:00 at night. And like, I'm not going to get on the phone just at 8:30 at night, spur of the moment. You know, we all have families and jobs and other things going on. So I can be like, all right, here, cool. Read through this and you'll be good to go. So once they've listened, I will get on the phone and do a GSR with them. And these I take like an hour on. And what I do is I get out that business activity tracker and I walk them through each individual line and I explain the importance of it. And then at the end of that, I say to them, this is your Coach Daily to-do list. Like, this is the stuff that you need to do. This is your power hour. You need to, make sure you do your personal development. We talk about like which book they're going to start off with. So we'll talk about like their lifestyle. Sometimes I don't even start them off on a book. Sometimes I'll be like, all right, you know what I think you should do? I think you should listen to Shalene's podcast while you're driving into work in the car. Or I'll be like, you know what, you should download You Are a Badass and I want you to listen to it after you drop your kids off at school. So I get an idea on this call of what their daily schedule is like. I get them to tell me when they're going to do their power hour, when they're going to work out every day, and when they're going to drink their Shakeology. I make them actually tell me. So I have an idea. Like, I know which coaches of mine work out in the morning and which coaches of mine work out in the evening. I make them tell it to me. I ask them like flat out, are you comfortable inviting 2 to 5 people to a challenge group every day? And if they're like, no, I'm like, okay, let's just do 2. And I'll say to them, are you comfortable inviting 2 to 5 friends to your network every day? And they're like, yes, I am. And I'm like, okay, do all 5. So we will like go through each item on the list and I'll find out where they're comfortable and where they're not. Where they're comfortable, I'll dumb it down a little, and where they're not, we do it to the max. And then at the end, I'll say, okay, so you're going to use your business activity tracker as a resource, and I'll send them a message and be like, great call, really excited just to go over some things. I know you're going to work out every morning. I know you're going to listen to this on the way in the car. I know that, you're going to drink your shake in the evening because you have a sweet tooth. And I know that you're going to invite, 5 people to the business opportunity every day. So I'll go over it and like say it back to them and put it in writing, like in just like a little message. I'm so excited for you. This is going to fit in so nicely. Like, I'll just kind of like pump them up and just talk about like their new daily routine, and then I'll follow up with them on it. On the GSR, I also dig like really deep, like really, really deep into their why. And this was a tip Jeff Pearson gave me. He's since left the company, but he was like our old mentor. He was like, dig so deep into their why when you're on a GSR with them that they cry. Like, if you can make them cry, like, you just nailed it. So really, really figure out what is going to motivate them. That way you can remind them of that along the way. So when they're feeling frustrated or when they're not answering you or, whatever it is, like, you can come back to them and be like, look, I know that this is really hard, but is getting up at 5 a.m. every day going to be worth being able to stay home with your children? Is that, you told me you wanted to stay home with your children. I know life is hard, but would getting up an extra hour early make that worthwhile for you? And like, you can constantly be like revisiting that and reminding them of why they got started. And that really helps keep them moving. My team, I like live and die by the power hour. The same way I send all my new coaches back to this letter, if, you know, they have questions or concerns or whatever, then they haven't like seen it through. With my coaches who are working the business, I send them right back to that power hour, right back to that business activity tracker. You know, we hit like the 6-month mark, and I noticed that a lot of coaches on my team were like frustrated that they haven't progressed. And, you know, Lindsay Stanford, it's funny because sometimes you see like coaches rank advance and then you see other coaches get frustrated. And it's not jealousy. It's just like the nature of the beast. Like, it's just sometimes when you're working so hard towards something and, you know, other people are moving past you, it can be like a tough pill to swallow. So when my coaches are feeling frustrated, I'll say to them like, well, are you doing your personal development every day? And if the answer is no, I'm like, well, that's a problem. So you're frustrated that your team is not bigger. Are you inviting 2 to 5 people to the business opportunity every day? The answer 9 times out of 10 is no, they're not. So, you know, if you're not doing the right daily activities, why would you expect, you know, forward motion in your business? So I think that really helps me as far, I am able to rank advance a lot of coaches too. I don't even know, I should go back and see like how many emerald coaches I have, but I have a combined 7 diamonds in all 3 of my business centers. And I think part of that is whenever my coaches are frustrated or wherever they feel like their business is spiraling out of control or wherever they feel like they're disorganized or overwhelmed, I'm like, okay, well, are you doing your power hour? Are you doing your invites? Are you adding to your network? Like, if you're not answering yes to those things, but you have a beautiful website, like that website isn't going to do shit for you. But those 2 to 5 conversations that you're having every day will. So I'm just constantly sending my coaches back to that power hour and that business activity tracker. I set the expectation that going emerald should happen in your first 30 days because really it's all about just hitting. If you hit Success Club 5 and you're offering the coach opportunity to all of those people, one of them really should bite. And there's always like a spouse or a family member or someone you can sign up as well. So I really hammer that in the beginning. Plus, from a business standpoint, if you're serious about growing this business, signing your spouse in from the very beginning is a genius move because it puts them at the top for volume. And I hate myself for not doing that sooner. I didn't sign my husband until I needed him to go diamond. So his volume isn't where it should be. So I just set that expectation like, okay, so now you're a coach. We're going to get you adding challengers and converting coaches within the first month. Because when I first started, I was just excited to make like $50 commissions. And it took me like 8 months to realize that the income really came from growing a team. So if you are coming to me because you want to be a Beachbody coach and you have goals and you want to have success, I'm going to show you how. And the first step in doing that is going to be by going emerald. And it's just a family member and one other person. That's it. It can literally happen overnight if you ask enough people. So I set that expectation from the beginning. When I first started as a coach, I was like, oh my God, emerald, like signing the coach up underneath me. It took me 4 months to go emerald. 4 months. 4 months. If I had to go emerald tonight, I could probably sit on this computer and get it done by midnight if I really, really wanted to. And, you know, I always just stress the importance of building a team when I talk to my coaches. So a lot of times I'll get back on the phone with them after they've sold like a challenge pack or 2 or like signed a coach. Like I'll reach out to them just to help them like keep that momentum going. And that's where I stress the importance of like building a team. And I'll go into like screen share and I'll kind of show how my income has shifted. So in the beginning, your checks are very commission based. They're 100% commission based. And then the lucky day comes where you get like a $28 cycle and you're like, oh my God, like I got all that cycle bonus, which is like so awesome. And then you get like $56 cycle and then you have like $172 cycle and it just grows and grows and grows. And eventually that cycle will catch up with like your retail commissions. But now I'd say 90% of my income is team cycle bonus. I mean, I don't need, my team cycle bonus continues to grow. Like, my checks aren't driven by my retail commissions anymore. Granted, that's where like my coaches kind of come from. So it all comes like full circle, but growing a team is really critical to having long-term success in this business. And it's really critical to having, what's the word I'm looking for? Residual income. So I know that I can sell absolutely nothing this week and I'll still have $1,000 cycle bonus in my first business center, like easily. Like, I know that that's money I can count on because of the tremendous team that I've built. So I think that's all I had. Let me take a look down here in the chat. I'm seeing a bunch of questions. Yeah, I present the business opportunity wherever I can. So any kind of like any conversation that I'm having. So like when I do my inviting, I hate that word. Like, I hate it. Jeff Matheson is the Northeast Region Senior Sales Manager, I guess, Director, whatever they call him. And he told me to just like stop using the word inviting and to stop using the word recruiting and to change like my mindset to building relationships of trust. So like, did I start to build 2 to 5 relationships of trust today? And whether that's through like a physical or a financial, whatever it is, but whatever you have them like in mind for. So I go through and I just start conversations with people. So whatever it's about, if they liked my chicken from yesterday, I talk to them about dinner time and I offer them the recipe. If they liked my coach opportunity post, I'll say something as simple as like, thank you so much for liking my post. It's not always easy to put it out there, but this has been a great opportunity for me. Like, I don't say it like creepy, salesy, like, want to join my team. I just say thanks. Like, thanks for supporting me. Like, I really appreciate it, because it's not always easy to put that out there. So when it's supported, it makes me feel good. Thank you. You know, little stuff like that. When people will talk about, I will talk to like a lot of nurses or people who do shift work. And I'm like, I hear you. Like, it was so hard. I used to do shift work before my Beachbody business took off. And doing that with children is really, really hard. So like, I'll volunteer little like tidbits of information, just in like normal conversations with people. Do you use the same before pictures or change them up? Luckily, it took me a while to lose all that weight. So I have lots of decent pictures for comparison. And I kept a lot of like I joke around, I call them my fat clothes. So I've done pictures too where I put them back on and like hold them out, which reminds me I should do that. I haven't done that in a really long time. But yeah, I use a lot of the same pictures. I'll get creative with it. Like, I'll put them next to different like after pictures a lot. Like, I'll use like the same before picture, but like a different after picture. And even now, like, these programs, my body still changes. Like, I had 6-pack abs after the first time I did Insanity Max 30, and they aren't there right now. So like, I like to show like the transformations that I've had with like different programs a lot. Like, my arms looked incredible after doing hammer and chisel. But then like most recently I did the Ultimate Reset and I ran a half marathon. So I lost a lot of my muscle tone. So right now I'm doing Insanity Max 30 again. And I hope to have like decent before and after pictures. So I might always stay thin. I might always stay a size 2, but my body's always changing. So I like to show that, you know, because it's just real. Like, I get off my meal plans just like everybody else does. And, you know, I slack with my workouts here and there just like everybody else does. So I'll share like that kind of stuff. I like to share a lot of like the 3-day quick fix and like refresh and like stuff like that, because it's easy for anyone to just put on like a bad weekend of like bloat and then get that off. The Bonnie call is in my welcome email, so I can message that over. How many of your PS coaches truly work the business? Let me think. Maybe like 12. But what's interesting is I work with Josh Coates one-on-one, And the majority of my income is kind of a different question. So because of the way your businesses are structured. So there's me, right? And then there's Lindsay Sanford was my first coach, and she just went 2-star diamond. She's my boo. She's amazing. And she's right at the tippy top of my organization. So she has a tremendous amount of volume, and she floats up a tremendous amount of volume. So that is my left leg, which Angela's team also builds for. So my left leg is like sick. It's really, really good. And then my right leg is my husband, and in his business center is Lisa Murphy and Kristen Young, and they have decent teams, and they hit Success Club every month. And then underneath that is my second CBC, which is where Scooty is, and she's an absolute animal recruiter. So there's a lot of coaches in there. And then I have probably like 4 emeralds down there. So I have like 2 power legs. Like my organization is set up like really, really well. I also have Laura Dieter on my left leg, and underneath her is like Wendy Ortovitz and Sarah Halber. You guys probably don't know them, but they're diamond, but they fall in and out of rank. So my organization, like I built for income. Like I'm a combined 7-star diamond, but I had enough of the vision to realize that like these coaches, like I have high producing coaches in every single one of my centers. So that's why I have the income that I have. And that's why there's 5-star coaches that make half of what I make, that I know personally. So I'm set up beautifully. So I would say about 80% of my income comes from Lindsay, Angela, and then myself. I mean, my whole right leg is really just myself. That's Jason, who I built to 2-star diamond, and my second CBC, which is 1-star diamond. So the income really comes from like Lynn's, Angela, and like me again. And when I was talking to Josh Coates, he said that Brittany Powers, who is in the top 10, is basically set up like exactly like I am. Like she has 2 really high producing coaches on like one of her legs, and then she's got herself like on the other legs. So it just goes to show that like that placement and that volume is like so important. And you don't have to have a lot of coaches to be really successful. You just have to have producing ones in all the right places. You know, I have a great income with my 7 diamonds. And that took me like 2 years to put together. I've been a coach for 2 years. I was a coach 2 years in April. So how many coaches do you recruit on average a month? When a good month, it's like 8 to 9 as of lately. And what's started to happen to me more recently is I've been talking like a bigger game. So people are coming to me more willing to dive right into the business before they do like the physical challenge. Like they're coming to me, signing up with a challenge pack and diving all in. As you get better, you'll start to recruit better. Like as you become a more serious Beachbody coach, a full-time Beachbody coach, you'll start to attract people who want that a little bit more. They'll start to kind of like trust in you a little bit better. But that does not by any means mean that you can't be successful. Most of your people just usually have to start out as challengers. But this month has been god awful. This month I have 1 coach and Success Club 2. So I think it's also really easy to sit there and say to yourself, like, okay, Megan Saienni is this like beast recruiter. She can sign like 8, 9 coaches a month. I've never done that. But like this month, like I haven't been following BAT. I was away for over 2 weeks. And for the first time since I became a coach, I let those daily activities slide, and I'm paying for it now. So like the work that we're doing today is not the paycheck that we're going to get on Thursday. It's that compound effect. So I'm paying for it now, and I'm going to have to hustle to make it happen, which is fine. I mean, I knew this was what was going to happen. I know exactly what I just did to myself, and now I'm going to pay for it. But it just goes to show the importance of that power hour and those right daily activities. And that's what I teach my team. And I think that's really the key to like getting your coaches to rank advance, making sure that they give this the time and that they're doing the right stuff, because there's a lot of coaches out there who work this business, but they're doing all the wrong shit. And they're just doing it all wrong. And they might be spending 4 or 5 hours on this a day. And that's great if they have the time. But if they're not doing the right stuff, their business is not going to move forward. how often do you have personal time with your coaches? So if I'm being honest, like I'll offer it up a lot and they don't really take me up on it. Like my husband, every 6 weeks, he works nights. So that week, I always offer up call time. So I have my team page and then I have my PS coaches page. There's like 180 coaches in my team page. And then I think there's like 30 in my PS coaches page. Those are the coaches that are all working the business. I don't put any discount coaches in my page. And I'll go into like the file section and I'll be like, call slots. I'll just open up call slots and just let them fill themselves in. And they can either take it for like their whole team, or they can take it for themselves, or they can take it for like a coach that they're pushing the diamond or whatever it is. So I do that at least every 6 weeks. And then I'll do it like before qualifications. So like I did it recently, like I've gotten on with like Lindsay Sanford and the girls that she's been pushing the diamond. I got on with Laura Dieter and the girls that she was pushing the diamond and kind of talked to them and tried to help out there. But I don't have like specific one-on-one time with my coaches. Now, what I will do is if I see a coach, like I said earlier, who is like a newer coach and is like experiencing success, like I'll get on the phone with them to clarify some things. What I started doing recently is like rank-based calls. So while I was on vacation last week, I did do these 2 calls. I did one for everyone who was a coach rank or a new coach rank. And then I did a call for everyone who's emerald. And this Friday, I have a call for everyone who's diamond. I feel like my team is still kind of small enough that I can get away with like just doing that and giving them opportunity to ask questions and kind of brainstorm and keeping those calls a little more loose than like what we're doing now, where it's just like one person talking. So I'll do that. And I hope to do that more. But it's hard. Calls are tough because I would say like 50% of my team works and 50% of my team doesn't. And I am an old lady. Like when this is over, I'm going to bed. So I'm not the girl that will do like 9 o'clock calls every single night of the week. Like it's just not me. I need like my TV time. But I am the girl that will get up at 5:30 in the morning every day and do a live power hour with my team at 6. So, it all just depends on who your team is and what they're capable of. Does anyone else have any questions? Or Nicole, is there anything you want to add or ask? Was this helpful?
Yes, very. I think for me, I think I recruit maybe 2 to 3 a month. But for me, it's really just figuring out how to help the ones that are working it, recruit as well. But I also think it's, recruiting the right people that actually want this, because I know I personally have a lot of discount coaches. Heather has a lot of discount coaches. So, I feel like when you said, you have you're kind of piecemealing your rank, I feel like that's kind of how I have my diamond. And I need to solidify it more with people that actually want this. And, for Heather, for Megan, Jess, Karen, Kim, my girls on the call, they all work full time. They all have kids. But I know they all want it, so I think this was helpful in giving them some tips in how you go out there to get it. And, some of them want to be that mom working from home, having the time with their kids. So, I definitely think you did an awesome job of putting this out there and building your team, so I appreciate it.
Sure. I'm looking for one other thing. So what you just said, like who to invest your time in. So like I said, I work with Josh and he gave me these 4 like criteria that coaches should meet to get your time. So, and not necessarily for like a brand new coach, because I feel like you're not able to determine this, but for like emerald and diamond coaches. So I told him I was struggling with like identifying who on my team like the real rock stars were. That like I will some months recruit like a lot of coaches, and I just feel like I was struggling to like identify who should get like a good chunk of my time and who I should be running with. So I think this is something a lot of people struggle with, and he gave me these benchmarks that make it clear. So the first one is like, are they producing? So like, do they sell shit? Like, are they talking to people? Like, can they sell Shakeology for Christ's sake? Like, cause how many of you have signed coaches that are just like afraid to talk about Shakeology and they sell like a handful of essential packs and then it goes nowhere? So like, are they producing? Like, are they able to sell a challenge pack? Are they able to talk about Shakeology? Do they have a high activity level? So when you go into your team page, like, do you know who the hell they are? Like, who they belong to? Like, are they a name that people know? Like, if you go to my team page, people know who Kristen Young is. Like, they know she's a coach who shows up every day and does the work. So, if Nicole went into my team page, people would be like, who the hell is this? And she just like posted one time and never gave support and never liked a post and never, participated in the team page whatsoever. And then just like shows up one day. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, let me hop right on the phone with you because you posted one time. Like, no. So, are they producing? Do they have a high activity level? Do they practice the 3 vital behaviors? Like, how many of you have signed a coach and you're not even 100% sure that they do our programs? Like, or they're inactive. Like, how are you a coach who's going to work this business and you don't even have 90 PV because you don't drink Shakeology? Like, you're not going to be successful if you're not a product of the product. So that's another, benchmark to look for. And the last one is the attitude. So I have coaches on my team who will, like, I'll say to them, like, oh, are you going to get on the team call tonight? And they're like, oh, I would love to, but like, I'm just so tired and I didn't get my workout in today and the kids and blah, blah, blah. And you're just like met with like excuse after excuse after excuse from them. Like, how many times, like, sorry, I couldn't get on the call. I forgot my lunch today. Like, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, is this a priority or not? Like, you told me that you want to be a successful Beachbody coach, that you want a full-time income from this, blah, 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 blah. Well, you have to do the work for it, honey, So do they meet you with excuses or do they meet you with I'm struggling with something, can you help me? That's 2 totally different things. So like Kristen Young had just had her baby. She came to me and she was like, I don't know what the hell is going on over here, but like, I need some help. Like, I am so overwhelmed, like with my baby and like her nap schedule and her feeding schedule and fitting this in. And I feel like I'm constantly distracted or I'm ignoring her or blah, blah, blah. And like, I need some help. So like, we went through her day, like we talked about her baby's schedule. We went over the business activity tracker. We literally went through her Facebook and I was like, leave that group, leave this, close that down. I had her shut down her team page because she only had like 2 coaches that were really working the business. And we just like simplified things for her in a way that she could still work her business, have success. She hits Success Club every month. Like, we weren't going to let her just quit, but she also didn't come to me like, sorry, I'm just really busy with Nora, and like put her hand up at the whole thing. Like she came to me and was like, I need help. So there, that was an attitude that you want to help, where if it's just an attitude of like excuse all the time, like, why should I get on the phone with you if you're just going to make a million excuses for yourself? If you want help, I will help you, but you got to want it for yourself. And right now, if you're making excuses for yourself, it leads me to believe that you don't really want this for yourself. So those were the 4, I have them written down here. Those were the 4 things. Are they producing? Are they participating with the team? Do they practice the 3 vital behaviors? And do they have a good attitude? And those are like the 4 things that like I look for coaches. And it can change, trust me, because I have coaches that started out meeting all that criteria and they don't anymore. And, they can kind of like wax and wane. So it's something that you constantly kind of have to revisit. So like, I've probably done it like 3 times in the past couple months. Like, okay, who's going to get my time this month kind of thing? Who am I going to reach out to right now? So yeah, anybody have anything else? Oh, when do you have your coaches make their own team and team page? It depends. So like Lindsay Sanford made hers as a diamond, but she has a high Success Club base. So it just really depends. Like she has a lot of really like self-motivated coaches who are working the business. She probably has, like, she does a team call every single Tuesday and she gets like 6 to 7 people on and they're like all just like her PS coaches. So she started one relatively earlier, but like, if you think about it, you go diamond, okay? And you have 8 coaches. One of them could be your spouse. That's your emerald. And the other one is like just starting to work the business. So like, you can have a team page, but like really, what are you going to accomplish in that team page that you can't just accomplish in a message thread? So I think that it just causes, it's just one more thing on that person's plate that they have to like tend to. And it's just one more thing that they have to develop content for and be like posting in. And like when groups and stuff go dead, they're really hard to bring back. So I really don't think you need a team page until you're like a 2-star diamond, possibly a 1-star diamond, depending on how many emeralds you have underneath you. Lindsay Sanford's the only coach on my team that has a team page that thrives. Lisa Murphy has had one. I don't know how well it does. I know there was a time where it wasn't doing so hot, but she also plugs her coaches into mine. But I think that there's a fine line between wanting to do all the work that your upline is doing because you think that that is leadership, as opposed to allowing them to still help you while you're in that like transitionary period of growing your team. You know, like I think that time that a lot of diamond coaches will spend on team pages and trainings and stuff is time that could probably be better spent recruiting. That's just, you know, where I advise my coaches. You know, if you are going to take an hour a week to develop great content and great training, like we already have that. We have that in FitForce. We have that in Angela's team. We have that in my team. I know Alyssa has it. I know Melissa has it. So, and we're all FitForce. Like, you know, you guys can access my New Coach Basics if you want. I have an opt-in email delivery system for it. But like, I think that the time that a lot of diamond coaches would spend on doing that kind of stuff is unnecessary when they're still very much in like the growth stage. Like a lot of them don't have a full-time income yet. So they should be focusing more on hitting Success Club and more on like recruiting, because that's where the income's going to grow. And that's how they're going to grow the team to be able to support doing things like that in the future, because they're going to have people to help them do it instead of, you know, doing it with us, if that makes sense. If any of you have team pages, by all means, I'm not saying go shut them down. Definitely talk to like your coach about it. But that's kind of where I've advised like a lot of my coaches. I think that we overcomplicate this business so much. And at the end of the day, really what success in this business is just getting out that business activity tracker and rocking a great power hour. What's that?
Megan, one last thing from me. So you said you work with Josh. Megan Nahas, who's my personally sponsored coach on the call, her and I have been kind of tossing around, do we spend the money for his training? What are your thoughts? And you have him as a one-on-one, so that's probably a more pricier option than like his bigger groups. What are your thoughts on having a mentor in general?
I think it's good. So for me personally, what had happened was, I think it's good, but you have to be at the right stage of your business. Like you've already have to have worked through all the resources that you have on your team already. So like I've been a coach for 2 years. I did every single FitForce training that Lauren put out. I did every single TKO training that Brandy put out. I did all the leadership trainings. I did the push to emerald trainings. I did the push to diamond trainings. I did all of Angela's trainings. And if you haven't done all those yet, I don't know that I would go investing money when there's already a lot of great training like within our teams. Like I did them all. Like Brandy's doing a Mindset Revive group right now, I heard is really good. I'm not in that because I just personally, like I posted in the FitForce Diamonds page earlier, like I just don't have room on my plate for like any more calls. Like I do too many of them a week as it is. So I wasn't going to take that on right now. So I think that's kind of like an important just thing to ask yourself. Like, are you in a training right now? Like if you're in another, I only will do like one training at a time because it's just too much. Like you just get pulled in like a gazillion different directions. There's the Shalene trainings, Marketing Impact Academies, like there's everything. So I think it's just really important to focus on where you need the attention in your business. Like for some people, yeah, like we all think in our mind that like what we need is recruiting, but like maybe you need help with organization first, or maybe you need help with like focus and clarity first, or maybe you need help with your mindset first. Like, I think everyone wants to like dive to the like recruiting and leadership piece because they think that's like what's at the top, but there's so much stuff that has to happen first. Like, if you haven't done a push to diamond group, I wouldn't go hire a leadership mentor, you know? I didn't hire him till I was 2-star diamond. And I didn't hire him until I had an income to support it. So I always made sure that I was compensated for my time and that I was always making money. Like, I always had to be, what do they call it? In the black? Is that what they call it? In the positive? Like, I always made sure that I was bringing in income before I would invest back in. So if you're someone who's only making like $100 to $200 a week, I would absolutely not pay for trainings right now when we have trainings that are offered in the team. And if there's no trainings offered in the team, like, start asking around. Like, I'm doing a Coach Basics group right now if anybody wants to get in it. Like, if you have someone who's like struggling with something, like, go into the TKO pages. Like, you know, you guys have Star Diamond leadership on your team, so have them post in like their regional leadership pages and ask if anyone's doing trainings on something that you have a coach on your team. That's like the really great thing about Team Beachbody is there's like a lot of camaraderie between other teams and other downlines. So if you know coaches and you have relationships with coaches on other teams and you're looking for a training that like we're not offering right now, like, reach out and see if you can find one that you can like hop in on and then return the favor down the road, you know? I always say, like, I know there's like a lot of coaches out there that are like, I don't want that person stealing the stuff, or they think that like we're like within competition of one another. I always think that with our challengers and with other coaches, like, if you give more value than you expect in return, you're going to be successful. So if you create like amazing value in our challenge groups and freemiums and free challenges and blah, 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 like, you're going to be rewarded for that. Like, yeah, there's going to be people that take, but then there's going to be people that give back tremendously. Same thing with the coaching aspect. Like, everything's on YouTube. You know, there's not really a whole lot of like secrets to this business, but like, the more relationships you have with other coaches, the better off you're going to be in the long run. Because like, my success partner is in Sarah Try's downline and Lauren Kaliski, and my success partner, Alexis Doss, she personally sponsored Carly Del Carlo, who is like a top 10 coach. She sends me calls all the time, and like vice versa from like that whole organization. And it's like incredible stuff that like I love. That's like really helped me. And the crazy thing about Alexis and I is our husbands work together at Capital One, and we're both local to this area on 2 completely different teams. So we could very much be like one another's competition, but we've ended up working together, and it's helped us both like tremendously. Like, she just messaged me today and she was like, girl, I need to talk to you like tomorrow. I'm like struggling over here. Like, we need to have one of like our chats. So, you know, reach out in like those pages, like the Beachbody Champions page and like things like that when you're looking for stuff, because people will help. Definitely. Do you run push groups for your team? No, not really. I do little push threads because even myself, I don't know that my organization is big enough. Like, you know, Brandy runs these push groups and she has participation and like great leadership to help her. I don't really run them because there's nothing that like I can't accomplish in like group threads. Like, I did a, where is it? I think I posted it in the Fit Force Diamond page. I did like a little push to diamond, but I did it in a thread. Like, I hand selected like 3 emerald coaches that I thought could go diamond really quickly. It didn't end up working out, but they ended up doing the work. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. Or maybe I put it. It might be in like an elite page. Hold on. Okay, so I sent them all a message just asking them if they wanted to like push to diamond and like the potential that I saw in them. 1 out of 10 say yes, blah, blah, blah. And then I sent them this little graphic. Can I go into screen share? I sent them all this little graphic in a thread. And I was like, I want you to save this to your desktop. And every day when you sit down to do your power hour, I want you to message me when it's done. So I had like 4 coaches in like a thread. So like I said, like the same way, like I don't want my coaches like going out and creating all this extra work for themselves. Like I don't really want to create a ton of extra work for myself either, where I have like a group that I need to check in on all the time. Like I was only working with like 3 to 5 people on this. So like I'm still in like a one-on-one like mentorship phase, and I'm kind of teaching my coaches to do the same. So I don't like these big giant push groups so often, because I feel like the size of my team, like it can kind of create laziness. Like I have diamond coaches that will just like kind of pop their people in and then like not really support them, or they're just like dumping in their coaches. Like if these people want it, they got to do like a little bit of work for it, kind of thing. So I had this going in the thread, and I had 2 coaches that like consistently did it for like 2 weeks straight. And what you're doing with something like this is like you're not just like preaching at them, like you're helping them to create the actual action of like doing these activities, like create the habits. Because believe it or not, like we have coaches that are pushing for diamonds that don't post on Facebook every day. Like, it's just crazy. Like everyone knows what they have to do, but so rarely do coaches actually do it. So I always just send people right back to doing the work, and I just try and keep it like as simple as possible. So what type of coaching glance group do you think works the best? What's worked the best for me as of lately is doing Google Hangout on live. You can't see who's on like a Zoom like we're on now. But what I did was Lindsay Stanford's doing the call tomorrow, so it's not set up this way. But like if you go to my like page, it's on there somewhere. You'd have to scroll back a while. But like what I would do is I would do like my coach opportunity post, and then I would say link to join is in the comments. And I would drop it in the comments, Google Hangout Live. And then I would get on live, I would do the call. And so I would post that on my like page, and I would post that on my personal page, and I would post that in all my challenge groups. And, I would post it multiple times. And then once the call is finished, it's immediately processed, and that link to watch it is there. Like it's going to live in Facebook for all eternity. So I'm sure, people will go to like your page and start like scrolling back, like every once in a while, get like that creepy liker that likes the post from like 6 months ago, and you're like, oh my god, this person's stalking me. But what I found was interesting was I wonder if I can bring it up. Slow. So I did this live call, and I only knew of like one all about like just getting this information in as many hands as possible. So whether I know you're watching me or not, I don't really care. I just want you to watch it. And I think this makes it easy for people. Like they don't have to be seen. Like it makes it easier for them to like want to get on. Where is it? Got it? No. This is it. Okay. So this call has more views. I signed up to do this. This call has more views than any call I've ever done. It has 229 views. And so I did the call on like, let's say a Tuesday or Wednesday night. And then the next day I went to look at it to see how many people had viewed it. It had like 139 views. Okay. I've never had 139 people on a Zoom call before. So whether they watched it in its entirety or not, there was well over 100 people that actually clicked on that link, which I thought was pretty incredible. So that's how I'll do them like going forward. Like Lindsay's doing this month because I was away and just like super behind. But that's how I'll do them in the future, because I think there's something to be said about people who are like, okay, I'm not showered and I don't have a bra on and I really don't feel like getting on camera right now, but they're kind of curious and nosy, so they want to watch, or they'll watch like the first 20 minutes of it from like their phone and be like, that was interesting, and it kind of like sticks with them. Alyssa, I don't have a bra on right now. Right, which is fine for us, but like, would you get on a coach opportunity call? Like,
And she's eating like peanut butter over there or something. I want to know what she's digging for in that jar.
Shakeology balls. I found that to be like super effective, and I don't like groups. Every time I talk about groups, I feel like everyone's like, oh, another group, oh, more notifications, oh, blah blah blah, and like that's one of the biggest things I get from my calendars. Like I have to constantly tell my calendars, like, oh, just turn off the notifications then. Sorry, and like we know how it is with like the LuLaRoe and the Rodent and Fields and like all that stuff. So like I don't know, like the groups, like whenever I can avoid doing a group, I do. Which is probably like the exact opposite of what most Beachbody coaches will tell you, but that's what I've been doing. Like if I can accomplish something in a thread or on a live call, I'll go that route instead. And I go live in my challenge groups like almost every day. Going live is awesome.
I know we've been, oh, sorry. I think Heather asked a question.
What about when you go live? I get over 200 views and get crickets and maybe got one person out of it who still hasn't ordered anything from me yet. I wouldn't let that discourage you. Live is a new thing. Like it's a brand new technology on Facebook that we know nothing about. So if 200 people are watching, I think that's a lot. And I think that's great. And if those 200 people are continuously watching, just know that like people follow you for a long time before they decide. They don't see one post and be like, sign me up, here's $160. So I think live is a really personal connection that you can make with people. I need to go live more. I know I do. I feel like I'm at like a mental block where I'm like, no, what do we can talk about? And you don't want to get on for no reason. If you have to write a post and you're sitting there and you're writing out this post and you're like, shit, this post is so long. Like this post is just too long. Just go live. Just start talking, like if you've got something that you want to say that's like on your mind or in your heart or whatever, and try not, like Shalene, I was watching a couple things that she did about going live, like try not to make it all about Beachbody, otherwise every time you go live people are going to be like, here she is pushing Shakeology again, I'm not watching that shit. Same with like Facebook, fitness, lifestyle, motivation, those are all good topics. Think about your brand. Talk about things that are associated with your brand. It's funny. I feel like I always know what to do, but then I don't actually do it, which I think is something a lot of coaches struggle with. I love your real lyrics. I mean, here's the crazy thing. Like I was talking to Lindsay Sanford. She stopped by my house today. And I was like, I don't invite 2 to 5 people to the coaching opportunity every day. I just don't. If I did, I would probably be a 15-star diamond. So just if you feel like your business isn't progressing where you want it to, like get out that business activity tracker, ask yourself, are you doing all those things every day? And if you're not, then your business is aligned to reflect that, Like I do enough, but I don't do all that I'm capable of. And I know that. And I could do better. And I should. But life is hard.
All right, well, I will let you go to bed. Thank you for sharing.
Too much.
What?
You guys kept me up past my bedtime. I told you.
No, I appreciate it. I definitely think that everybody on the call took a lot of stuff away, so I really appreciate it. And I would love if you could email me some of the stuff that you talked about so I could put it out there to anybody who wants to utilize it.
Yeah, I will. Definitely.
All right.
Thanks, Meg. Bye. I'll see you guys soon. Who's going to Summit? Oh my God, everybody. Drinks.
Yes. All right. Thanks again, Megan. Thanks everybody for getting on. And Melissa recorded, so she'll post it in both team pages.
Cool.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
See you guys.